Alright, so lately it seems like I have a knack for picking books that have bittersweet endings. I don't really know why this curse has fell upon me, but this is the third book I've read that has left me feeling like that. I read Every Day by David Levithan, which, if you know how that ends, then you know. And then I read this book, Us by Michael Kimball, which is about these old people who die. Like, literally, that's what the book's about. And then the book that I'm reviewing today, Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. Jojo M. I don't know why I keep choosing these books. It's not like I'm actively saying break my heart. I just kind of wanted to share this book because it really was a great story. About this book, Lou is the main character and she lives in a small town in England and she's 26 years old. She's had the same job for years. She has a steady boyfriend. Basically, her life can be summed up within the few blocks that she lives, and she still lives at home with her parents. But when she loses her job, she has to seek employment elsewhere, and she gets hired by the Trainer family, who have a quadriplegic son, and he's 35 years older. He's in his 30s, early 30s, and his name is Will. So Lou gets hired to be the caregiver for Will. And at first the description of the job seems pretty straightforward. She pretty much just has to keep an eye on him, maybe clean up around him, and just during like business hours throughout the day. She's just there to be like a companion for him. So it seems like, oh, this is gonna be a really easy job, right? But actually, she meets Will and she thinks, okay, maybe I can't do this, because Will is a very dark person. You can tell he's very depressed, he's upset with his life, he's always angry, and he clearly hates that he is a quadriplegic. He had an accident 2 years prior, which is how the book opens, and he's been in the chair ever since. But he wasn't the type before to be an okay person staying at home reading a book, watching TV. He was the complete opposite. He liked making money, he had a very successful career, he would take his weekends and all of his time off to go to far off places. He would try new things and adventure, and so to take someone who is so active and then basically make him unable to do anything for himself, it really affected him. He lost part of himself. So Lou has this spunky, quirky, awesome spirit, and she comes in and she is going to brighten up Will's life. She's trying really hard, but Will is very, very resistant, and she initially just gets signed on for a 6-month contract. On his best days, Will make fun of Lou, and on his worst days he will completely ignore her and shut her out entirely. A third of the way of the book in, we learn why there only was a 6-month contract, and that's because Lou finds out from Mrs. Trainer that Will tried to commit suicide and he pretty much has no desire to live anymore, and he only promised his parents 6 more months of life, and then he was going to go to Switzerland where there's a assisted suicide place where he is going to kill himself because he just can't stand to be alive anymore. And so when Lou hears about this, she decides that she is going to have Operation Save Will. And she's going to have him going on adventures and going car trips, and because he's usually just staying inside of his house, so he doesn't really go anywhere else. Also, something that's a part of this story is Lou's boyfriend of 6 years, and his name is Patrick, and he really isn't a dimensional character. Will calls him jokingly Running Man because Patrick is obsessed with fitness, and there's this thing called the Extreme Viking, and Patrick is gonna be competing in this, and so basically he's obsessed with fitness. You can tell that the relationship between Lou and Patrick really isn't that strong. The relationship between Lou and Will benefits both parties. Now, something that I really enjoyed about the story, of course, is the irony of the entire situation. So Lou is going into this thinking, I'm going to help Will, and I am going to give him a new lease on life, and I'm going to make him want to live and show him new things. But really, Will is the one who's kind of inspiring this spirit into Lou to stretch herself beyond the small town that she's lived in her whole life. I mean, Lou before this had never desired to move anywhere. She never desired to get employed anywhere. She didn't really have any goals or ambitions. And Will just sees the potential in Lou, and he challenges that and says, you know what, I think you need to travel, you need to experience things, you need to go to university, you need to like find something you really care about and like give it your all. She's giving Will the best 6 months that she can. Will is also giving Lou the best 6 months that he can. That's my review. I give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I just have to say that this was a really great summer read, and I'm actually just wondering what's your favorite summer read so far. So let me know, and happy reading.